when you take a look at the big picture here in Canada, we are in absolute shambles when we start talking about politics. And one of the things that we can look upon when we take a look at the U.S., you know what? You see President Trump, and love or hate him, he's doing exactly what he promised everybody to do. So good on him for doing it, because the current existing government in Canada here, they have their hands in their pockets, right? They're not doing anything to actually make the situation better. They're getting all tough and everything else. And, I got to talk about the Liberal Party right now, because there's 3 voices coming out of the Liberal Party right now. 2 of them saying they're vying to be the leader of the Liberal Party, and that would naturally then turn around and make them the Prime Minister when our idiot Justin Trudeau finally steps down. But, they're making conversations that make no sense. Nobody's truly addressing things properly. In fact, as soon as they can get a narrative, and we know most of their meetings are covered by AI, they're done in really small venues. And, I think they're just giving everybody a Tim Hortons gift card to show up. But Mark Carney, he's kind of apparently the heir apparent. Everybody keeps saying he's going to be the next leader. Nobody's voted for him. Okay. He's not even a sitting MP or anything. Like he's nobody right now, but he does have some background. I mean, head of the Bank of Canada, governor of the Bank of England, and all sorts of corporate WEF stuff. But here's what he had to say to a very, 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 very small and subdued group just recently.
And something that my government is going to do is to use all of the powers of the federal government, including the emergency powers of the federal government, to accelerate the major projects that we need in order to build this economy and take on the Americans.
Take on the Americans. I mean, this guy doesn't have a clue. He's never run a country. Yes, he plays with corporate. But in the end, he's sitting there saying he's going to utilize the emergency acts. Now, who did that already? That's right. Justin Trudeau, when real Canadians showed up in Ottawa, to protest the vaccine mandates and actually protect Canadians. So these guys think that the Emergency Act is just something for them to swirl around and use at their pleasure. But when we think about it for a second, he's sitting there saying he's going to take on the Americans. I got a problem with this. Why don't we just solve Canada's problem, okay? Because it's an internal problem, We're sitting there saying, okay, we got to protect our borders, and there's all this rhetoric going around saying, yeah, we're going to do it. We have 2 helicopters. But the truth is, right now, okay, I don't see a lot of action happening. Now, the next step, of course, is, the previous finance minister, and she herself has a lot to say. And despite the fact that her voice is going to grind your nerves, as it has for the last 9 years, let's see what she has to say.
People are recognizing that this is such a crucial moment for Canada, and they are recognizing that our party is the party to fight for Canada. They're also recognizing, by the way, Pierre Poilievre is not the guy who can do it. He is maple syrup MAGA. All he wants to do is imitate Trump, and I don't think Canadians trust him to stand up to Trump. Instead, I think that's giving us a lot of energy, and that's why I'm really putting myself forward as the person, as the woman who can do it.
Wow. What is it with these people? Are they so delusional? I mean, we know we manufacture fentanyl. What is she doing? Taking a little in the morning? Because quite frankly, okay, she doesn't have a clue how to handle any of this. She couldn't run the country without obstacles. Okay, how is she going to do it with it? And the fact that she thinks that she could put herself forward and that we're gaining momentum. I mean, all the polls are lying through their teeth saying, oh yeah, the Liberals. We can't have them take one extra day in power, because all they're doing is they're trying to jam Canada with all sorts of green emission costs. We're getting hit with taxes in April, and she doesn't have a clue how to count money. She's put the Canadian people in more debt than any other finance minister in history, and yet she thinks she can run the country. But Speaking of running a country, here's a guy that runs off his mouth, okay? He prorogued because, he wants some time to make, some decisions. Still running around the globe, shooting off his mouth, spending Canadians' money. And yeah, speaking of Canadians' money, what else did he come up with? Well, here it is. Trudeau announces $3.9 billion high-speed rail between Quebec City and Toronto? Okay, so this guy knows he's on the way out, but he figures, hey, let's throw a fast, train going from Quebec to Toronto. Why do we need that? Tell you why. Why don't you impress us with turning around and doing something important? Let's see what he says.
Will turbocharge our entire economy, create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs, and open new opportunities for Canadian businesses at every link of our supply chain.
Okay, that doesn't get... This guy is delusional. Absolutely 100% delusional. Tell you what, you want to spend $3.9 billion and you're running a tube train through Quebec? Why don't we open up a pipeline, Mr. Prime Minister? You know what Canada needs? We need to be self-sufficient, not a quick ride from Quebec City to Toronto. This guy has lost his mind. Okay, he spends so much money in Quebec that he forgets the rest of Canada is getting jammed with it. Tell you what, you got $3.9 billion burning a hole in your pocket? I want to see the pipeline, east and west of Canada, okay? Run it through Quebec. Let's open it up because that's what we need. You want to create tens of thousands of jobs? What do you think that would do for our economy? You know what? Become self-sufficient. But no, he would rather turn around and just have some delusional thought that this is the route to go. I don't know why anybody's even giving him breath. He stepped down right now in a prorogue situation. Yeah, he's still prime minister. Yes, he hasn't found a leader. Why not? Why are we waiting so long? Oh, that's right. We got to wait till the right date. So, you know what? They can continue to brainwash Canadians with their bullshit. Now, speaking of bullshit, here's the thing. We were told that we needed to protect our borders. And you know what? Trudeau introduced Kevin Brosseau, who is supposed to be the fentanyl czar. Have you heard much? Well, what's interesting? In the news right now, we are hearing a little bit of, 4 people were caught with fentanyl. Oh, yeah, they're closing down a few labs. Question for you. Why wasn't this being done before? All of a sudden, we were told we need to do something, and all of a sudden, hey, look at us. We're good Canadians. We're doing it. It's really disgusting on the politicians that are running this country. It really is. It's embarrassing. On the world stage, we should be embarrassed about, right now, the party in power. Now, everybody can sit there and complain about Trump all they want, but the guy is actually doing what he promised. The problem with Canadian politicians is all they do is talk and deliver absolutely nothing to Canadians other than higher taxes, a lot more difficulty in finding jobs, open borders so we can't turn around and control people coming in. The problem with Canada right now, full stop, isn't Donald Trump. It's our politicians in power. It's time they leave and we get somebody that can turn around and actually worry about Canada. To wrap it up, one of the most important things to me always is that we need to watch out for our fellow Canadian, our fellow hard-working, tax-paying Canadian family. And of course, that includes our children, the next generation, and everything that we should be focused on. Right now, the existing Canadian government has lost that way. They never had it in the first place. I think it's time for a change. Love to hear your comments. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Todd Later.